Some of you may remember the project where we built 3 bugs with glowing eyes in the dark. You may also remember our bugs couldn't do much except glow in their eyes in the dark. They didn't have legs, so they couldn't move. Really, they couldn't do anything useful for us. In this video, we're going to change all that. We will create an amazing bugathon experience by getting those same 3 bugs to race with one another. It's going to be an exciting one. But before we get to see them racing, we're going to do 2 things. First, we're going to actually make some modifications to the bugs themselves to get them moving and to get them moving fast. And secondly, we're going to build the racetrack ourselves, complete with a tunnel, so that when the bugs enter the tunnel, we're going to get their eyes glowing in the dark. So now, grab your favorite drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the experience. Let's first take a look at those modifications to give those bugs a true boost. We start by mounting the vibration motor to the back of the battery holder. These motors usually come with self-adhesive, so you just need to remove the label and stick it onto the battery holder at the back. We then sand the surface of the transistor. We are doing this in order to glue the switch to the surface of the transistor, which is a good space for it. This switch is going to control when the vibration motor turns on or off. We also sand the surface of the switch like so in order to improve the adhesion. We then carefully place a little glue blob to the surface that we sanded on the transistor, and then carefully place the switch so that the side we sanded actually mates with the blob that we just inserted. It is also a good idea to reinforce the switch adhesion by putting more glue. And then we finally check to make sure the switch works mechanically. Next, we are going to connect the switch, the vibration motor, and the coin cell battery, like shown on the top left diagram. We're basically establishing the connections that are indicated in red in the diagram. We will create the legs of the bugs using ordinary stranded wire. To do that, we strip off the wire as shown and twist it to give it a bit more rigidity. We then apply solder generously all across and around the twisted stranded wire to give it the rigidity it needs, so that it can support the bug's weight. And the other advantage of using this method is you can shape the legs after you install it on the bug to help you balance the bug's weight. After making the first leg, we simply repeat the same process for the remaining 3 legs. Once all 4 legs are ready, now it's time to install them on the bug. To do that, we simply bend the tip of each leg and make sure it's the same size as the leg itself, and put a little hot glue blob on the leg and carefully place the bent metal piece on the leg itself. After installing the first leg, we simply repeat the same process for the remaining 3 legs. This completes all of our modifications for the reg bug. Next, we repeat the same modifications
for the yellow bug in exactly the same order. As the final step, we apply the same modifications as we did to bug red and bug yellow to bug green. We make those modifications in exactly the same order as before. Bugs are moving very nicely together, as you can see, but the problem is sometimes they clash and their legs get tangled up, so when they bump into one another they cannot recover sometimes. Next, let's address that problem. The solution is simple. We are going to create a circular frame around each bug, so basically when another bug comes in proximity to the other one, it's going to bump into that circular frame rather than the bug's body. Here I'm using plastic nozzles that are attached to the tip of an air duster. You may want to use other materials that are suitable for the job, like plastic straws. What you need to make sure is the frame material needs to be easily bendable to create a large enough circle to fit around the bug's body. After creating the circular frames around the yellow and the green bugs, exactly as in the red bug case you saw, we modified their capabilities slightly. Here for the yellow bug, we have replaced its metal legs with clear ABS plastic legs to make it a bit more bouncy. For the green bug, we placed pieces of red nozzle plastic on the tip of the metal legs, and we replaced two of the legs with the same clear ABS plastic. We also added some weight to the vibration motor to actually make it a bit more agile. If you have other creative ideas on how to modify these bugs, please share them in the comments section below. To build a racetrack for the bugathon, we are using a foam board of 18.5 inches by 12 inches. We leave about half an inch from all four sides to mark the walls of the racetrack. We then mark the center line in the middle of the board, which is going to be about 9 inches in length. This will leave about 4.5 inches from the right and the left side of the board. To build the walls around the racetrack, we are going to be using a heavy-duty metal foil. The height of the walls will be 5 inches. If you want the walls to be thicker, you can, for example, take a 20-inch strip and fold it in 4 to get the 5-inch height. We will use multiple strips as such to build all of the 4 walls around the racetrack. Once we prepare the strips, we look at their positioning and where we need to fold to go around the edges. You can cut the strips to size, depending on the shape and the length of your racetrack. After cutting the metal foil to size, the correct length, you just align it with the walls we previously marked and simply just apply blobs of hot glue along the edges carefully. So this will hold the metal foil in place. You can optionally use an air duster to speed up the drying process for the hot glue, especially if you apply it generously. Once the glue is dry, you simply lift the foil, keeping the glued edge fixed obviously, and create the wall. The advantage of this method is you can easily bend it to shape as you're doing this, and it's a very simple operation once the glue is dry. We repeat the same process for the remaining 3 walls and complete the walls of the racetrack. The eyes of the bugs we built previously actually glow in the dark. So in order to provide them with the dark environment, we're going to build a short tunnel on our racetrack. The length of the tunnel will be approximately 9 inches, and the width is going to be about 5 inches. To build the walls of the tunnel, we're going to be using balsa wood, which is light in weight and quite thin, and it's very easy to process. Simply attach the balsa wood wall to the base of the foam board using a glue gun. Once the wall in the middle is fixed into place, we then place an identically sized balsa wood to the opposite side as the second wall. The final step of completing the tunnel is creating the roof. Simply apply the glue on top of the wall and place each balsa wood piece carefully in place. For the roof, we are going to be using balsa wood pieces that are 3 inches in width and 5 inches in length. You may use different size balsa woods, which means the number of pieces you will end up using may be slightly different. The last thing to build for our racetrack is the checkered finish line. You can simply download a pattern, print it, cut it to size, and stick it on the foam board. Bugathon is about to start. All the bugs are on the line. And there you go. Red makes a very good, very strong start. The yellow is coming immediately after that. The green is a bit slow. They've just made it through the first corner. Oh, look, there's a jam there. They're all stuck together. They're right at the mouth of the tunnel. None of them seems to make a move. Oh, the green one goes in first there. Yellow is after that in the second place. The red, the third one. You can see the lights come up on the red and the yellow. The green one is really slow to follow. They're approaching the third corner. They're just going around the third corner as we speak. Pretty stuck, pretty jammed there again. Yellow seems to take the lead. There's only a few feet left to the finish line. Yellow is actually going for the first place. Oh no, it's changed its mind. It's coming back. It's coming back. Green and yellow. Oh, the red one makes it through the finish line. The first place goes to red. For the second place, we've got a struggle between the yellow and the green bugs. They're really pushing one another. They're really like charging one another. They're inching their way towards the finish line. The yellow is almost about to make it. Green is pushing yellow through. It's pushing it all. Oh yes, yellow gets the second place and green finishes third. This has been a very exciting race. First place goes to red, second place goes to yellow, and the third place goes to green. And this marks the end of our bugathon.